The Bible is a book filled with rich stories and characters that have many lessons to teach us, and among these characters is Joseph. He is a figure whose life was completely guided by God's plans and marked by moments of surprise and unexpected changes. In this video, we will explore some fascinating details of Joseph's story that you may not yet know. From his humble beginnings to his journey toward a prominent position, through difficult times and important achievements, our mission is to reveal the secrets of Joseph's life and reflect on the valuable lessons we can learn from his journey. Let's begin with the figure of Joseph, the husband of Mary and adoptive father of Jesus, one of the most intriguing and less understood characters in the biblical narrative. Despite his fundamental importance in the story of salvation, the scriptures do not provide us with many details about the life of this just and devoted man. However, the scarcity of information does not diminish the relevance and impact of his role in God's plan. This lack of details has led many scholars and theologians to speculate about his life and character. Even without appearing in many later accounts, Joseph's legacy remains alive. His examples and the impact he had on the life of Jesus, the son he raised with such love and dedication, have left a mark that transcends time. Joseph is a figure who teaches us a lot through how he dealt with the challenges imposed by the divine plan. When an angel appeared to him in dreams, revealing God's purpose for Mary and the baby she was expecting, Joseph faced a difficult choice. Instead of retreating or questioning, he demonstrated unwavering obedience and sincere faith, accepting the role of the earthly guardian of the Messiah. Even knowing the responsibilities and the criticisms that could arise, he decided to follow God's guidance. His courage to embrace this mission without hesitation, even in the face of uncertainties and judgments, showcases his strong commitment to righteousness and justice. Although the Bible does not record many specific words or actions of Joseph, his stance in this situation speaks volumes about his character. Joseph was present at essential moments in Jesus' childhood, witnessing his first steps, hearing his first words, and teaching him the craft of carpentry. Even though his role may seem more discreet compared to that of Mary or the disciples, Joseph's influence as an earthly father was crucial to the formation of Jesus' character. And at a critical moment, Joseph found himself faced with a delicate decision. Upon discovering that Mary was pregnant before their marriage, he faced a difficult and painful dilemma. According to Matthew 1 verse 19, Joseph, being a just man, thought of secretly leaving her to spare Mary from public exposure and social consequences. When Joseph learned of Mary's pregnancy before marriage, he faced a significant dilemma. As a principled man, he did not want to expose her publicly and considered leaving her in secret to prevent her from being shamed and punished by society. This situation challenged his understanding of the law and the moral values of the time, creating a profound internal conflict. However, while still pondering what to do, Joseph had a dream in which an angel of the Lord revealed to him that the child in Mary's womb was the work of the Holy Spirit. The angel told him not to be afraid to take Mary as his wife, for the boy would fulfill the prophecy and be called Emmanuel, which means God with us. With this revelation, Joseph decided to abandon his previous plans and follow divine guidance, welcoming Mary and accepting the role of caring for the boy Jesus as his own son. Next, we find Joseph in a situation that required an important decision: to travel to Bethlehem. In the account of the Gospel of Luke, the Roman Emperor Caesar Augustus had ordered a census throughout the empire. This census was a common practice used by the Roman government to register citizens and their properties, aiming to control taxes and services. As a descendant of David, Joseph needed to go to Bethlehem, known as the City of David, to fulfill this requirement. This journey involved registering information about his family and properties, which was essential for maintaining administrative control over the empire. Despite the challenges of the trip, especially considering that Mary was pregnant, Joseph and his wife obeyed the imperial order. They trusted in God's providence to protect and guide them during this journey and at the moment of Jesus' birth. This event was also crucial for fulfilling the prophecies of the Old Testament, which indicated that the Messiah would come from Bethlehem. Thus, the journey not only demonstrated Joseph and Mary's obedience but also highlighted their faith and willingness to follow God's will even in challenging times. After the long journey to Bethlehem and the birth of Jesus, another important moment in Joseph's life was the presentation of Jesus in the temple. According to Jewish tradition, it was necessary for parents to present their firstborn son in the temple and perform a sacrifice, consecrating him to God. Additionally, the mother needed to purify herself after childbirth, following the laws of Moses. Always committed to fulfilling traditions, Joseph took his family to the temple in Jerusalem to perform this ceremony. Upon arriving at the temple, Joseph and Mary were greeted by Simeon, a just and devout man who, according to the scriptures, had received a revelation that he would see the Messiah before he died. When Simeon saw the baby Jesus, he took him in his arms and pronounced a song of praise, the Nunc Dimittis, recognizing Jesus as the fulfillment of God's promise. Additionally, a prophetess named Anna also identified the baby as the Messiah and shared the good news with all who were waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. This moment was significant in showing Jesus' identity as the promised Messiah and marking the beginning of his journey in sacred history. After the presentation in the temple, Joseph faced a critical moment of great urgency, the need to protect his family from a deadly threat. According to the Gospel of Matthew, King Herod, upon hearing about the birth of a new king of the Jews, was disturbed and ordered the massacre of all boys under the age of 2 in the region of Bethlehem. Amid this threat, an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream, instructing him to flee to Egypt with Mary and the baby Jesus to escape Herod's fury. In response to this divine guidance, Joseph acted quickly and, without hesitation, left for Egypt during the night with his family, ensuring the safety of Jesus. The flight to Egypt not only provided physical protection for the child but also fulfilled an ancient prophecy that said, "Out of Egypt I called my son," Hosea 11 verse 1. Joseph remained in Egypt until an angel revealed to him in another dream that Herod had died and that it was safe to return to Israel. Once again, Joseph demonstrated obedience to divine guidance by returning to his homeland, where he and his family settled in the city of Nazareth. After Herod's death, Joseph received further divine guidance through a dream. The angel informed him that the danger had passed, allowing him to return with his family to Israel. With this, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus left Egypt and returned to their homeland. However, upon arriving in Judea, Joseph learned that Archelaus, Herod's son, was ruling in his father's place, which caused fear in Joseph that there might still be danger for the boy Jesus. Guided once again by divine instructions, Joseph decided to settle his family in Nazareth, a town located in the region of Galilee. With this choice, in addition to ensuring Jesus' safety, Joseph fulfilled another prophecy that indicated the Messiah would be called a Nazarene. Thus, the move to Nazareth marked the beginning of Jesus' upbringing in a more peaceful environment, where he grew and prepared for the mission that lay ahead. After establishing his family in Nazareth, Joseph and Mary lived a quiet routine while Jesus grew in wisdom and stature. Nazareth was a small town, relatively unimportant, but it was chosen by Joseph as a safe place to raise his adopted son. There, the Holy Family lived a simple life, fulfilling their family and community responsibilities. The choice of Nazareth demonstrated Joseph's humility and his willingness to live according to God's will. One of the most notable moments during this phase was the visit to the temple in Jerusalem when Jesus was 12 years old, an event narrated in the Gospel of Luke. As was their custom, Joseph and Mary took Jesus to celebrate Passover. On their return home, Joseph and Mary realized that Jesus was not with the group. Desperate, they returned to Jerusalem and, after 3 days of searching, found Jesus in the temple, discussing with the teachers and asking questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his wisdom. Upon finding Jesus, Mary and Joseph expressed their concern, but Jesus replied, Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" Luke 2 verse 49. This response revealed Jesus' early awareness of his divine mission and his special relationship with God, in addition to highlighting Joseph's role as a guide and protector during this early stage of Jesus' life. After the temple incident, Joseph is no longer directly mentioned in the biblical accounts. The last reference to him occurs when Jesus was 12 years old, suggesting that Joseph likely passed away before the beginning of Jesus' public ministry. Throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus often referred to as the son of Joseph, the carpenter, reinforcing Joseph's fundamental role in the life of young Jesus, both as an adoptive father and as a mentor in his craft. Although the Gospels do not provide details about Joseph's death, the absence of later mentions and the way Jesus is presented indicate that he was no longer present during his son's ministry. Nevertheless, his influence remained, as Joseph is remembered as a just and obedient man who exemplified his role as the guardian of the Holy Family, always following divine directions and ensuring that God's plan was fulfilled. One intriguing point in Joseph's life is his lineage, highlighted in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke. Both biblical accounts emphasize the significance of Joseph being a descendant of King David, thereby connecting Jesus to the messianic prophecy that pointed to a Savior coming from David's house. This connection is crucial for understanding the legitimacy of Jesus as the promised Messiah. The genealogy presented in the Gospel shows Joseph as a critical link in this line that traces back to Abraham, the father of faith. Even though Joseph was not the biological father of Jesus, this genealogical connection emphasizes the role he played in the salvation narrative. As the husband of Mary and adoptive father of Jesus, Joseph offered the child not only a family but also a spiritual and cultural heritage deeply rooted in the traditions and promises of the people of Israel. This role goes beyond mere earthly fatherhood, as he is part of the fulfillment of divine plans and the promises made throughout biblical history. Beyond his lineage, another striking aspect of Joseph's life is his profession as a carpenter. This simple yet dignified trade allowed Joseph to support his family and teach Jesus the value of hard work and dedication. In the context of the time, being a carpenter involved not only building furniture but also a wide range of manual skills and a strong connection with the local community, as the services of a carpenter were essential to daily life. Joseph's professional legacy played an important role in shaping Jesus, who was often referred to as the son of the carpenter. More than just a job, carpentry became a symbol of Joseph's teaching for his adopted son: hard work, honesty, and community service. This period of learning not only honed Jesus' practical skills but also shaped his character, serving as preparation for the challenges and mission he would face in the future. Another interesting question that often generates debates among scholars is Joseph's age at the time of his engagement to Mary. According to some apocryphal texts, such as the Proto-Evangelium of James, Joseph is portrayed as an older man at the time of his betrothal to Mary. This apocryphal text, dating from the early centuries after Christ, provides additional details about Mary's life, Jesus' childhood, and other events not found in the canonical Gospels. According to this account, when Mary was promised to Joseph, he was already an older man, while Mary was a young virgin. However, it is essential to remember that the apocryphal Gospels are not considered part of the canonical scriptures, and their historical and theological accuracy is subject to debate. The age of Joseph at the time of his betrothal to Mary varies among different traditions and ancient texts, and there is no consensus among scholars on this matter. Another episode related to Joseph is the so-called Test of Bitter Water, mentioned in apocryphal writings, such as the Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew. In this narrative, Joseph, suspicious of Mary's pregnancy, subjected her to a test of bitter water to determine her innocence or guilt. The test of bitter water was a rite described in the book of Numbers in the Hebrew Bible, specifically Numbers 5:11-31. According to this practice, a woman suspected of adultery was to be brought to the priest, who would prepare a drink with water and dust from the floor of the tabernacle. The woman had to drink this concoction, and if she was guilty, she would experience physical negative effects such as abdominal swelling and sterility. In the story of the Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew, Joseph takes Mary to the priest Zacharias to perform this test. However, when Mary drinks the bitter water, she does not experience any adverse effects, confirming her innocence and the miraculous nature of Jesus' conception. The test of bitter water, described in the book of Numbers, was a specific practice of ancient Israel and is not practiced in contemporary Christianity. An intriguing and controversial point of view about Joseph arises from the writings of Celsus, a philosopher and critic of Christianity in the 2nd century AD. In his work A True Discourse, Eliades Logos, Celsus made several accusations against the early followers of Jesus, including Joseph and Mary. One of Celsus's accusations was against Joseph, whom he accused of abandoning Mary after learning of her pregnancy. According to Celsus, Joseph would have abandoned Mary and the child Jesus, which could have been interpreted as a sign of infidelity, incredulity, or lack of commitment. However, these accusations by Celsus should be understood within the context of his broader criticism of Christianity. It is important to note that Celsus's claims are not based on solid historical evidence and are part of a more extensive effort to discredit the Christian faith as a whole. From the perspective of Christian tradition, Joseph is venerated as a just and faithful man who, after being informed by an angel in a dream about the true nature of Mary's pregnancy, chose to stay with her and raise the child Jesus as his own son. Instead of abandoning her, Joseph assumed his role as Jesus' adoptive father and played an important part in his upbringing and protection. Finally, the Feast of Saint Joseph is a celebration honoring Joseph, the husband of Mary and adoptive father of Jesus, which is commemorated on March 19th each year in the Christian liturgical calendar. This festivity has a long tradition in the Catholic Church and in some Christian denominations and is celebrated with devotion and gratitude towards Saint Joseph for his fundamental role in the life of Jesus and in the protection of the Holy Family. Saint Joseph is known for his humility, obedience to God's will, and dedication to his family. According to biblical accounts, he was a just and pious man who accepted the mission of being Mary's husband and Jesus' adoptive father with humility and love. He is also attributed with the title of patron of the Universal Church for his role as protector of the Church and all the faithful. The Feast of Saint Joseph is a special occasion to honor his exemplary life and his intercession as a model of virtue and a spiritual father. During this festivity, the faithful usually participate in special masses in his honor, pray the novena to Saint Joseph, and meditate on his virtues. It is also common to perform acts of charity and works of mercy in memory of Saint Joseph, who, according to Christian tradition, was a humble and responsible worker. In addition to its spiritual significance, the Feast of Saint Joseph also has cultural and social importance in many communities around the world. In some places, processions, feasts, and community activities are held to celebrate the life and legacy of this patron saint. It is an opportunity to gather with family and community, strengthening bonds of solidarity and fraternity. As we conclude, the life of Saint Joseph offers us a powerful example of virtue, faith, and commitment. He is recognized not only as Mary's husband and Jesus' adoptive father, but also as a model of humility and dedication. Through his actions, we learn the importance of listening and obeying God's will, even when it means facing challenges and uncertainties. His story reminds us that, regardless of the difficulties we may encounter, trust in God and a willingness to follow his path can lead to surprising and rewarding outcomes. Moreover, Joseph's life invites us to reflect on each of our roles within our families and communities. As parents, caregivers, or leaders, we are called to guide those entrusted to us with love and wisdom, just as Joseph did with Jesus. His legacy is a call to action, encouraging us to cultivate faith, perseverance, and service in our own lives. As we wrap up our reflection on the life of Saint Joseph, it becomes clear that his legacy transcends the pages of the Bible and serves as an inspiration for all of us. He teaches us that true greatness lies in humility and a willingness to serve. By embracing the mission of being the guardian of Jesus and Mary, Joseph exemplified how we can face challenges with faith and courage, always trusting in divine providence. Finally, we sincerely thank you for watching our video about the life of Saint Joseph. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new today. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. What was your favorite part of the video? Is there something new you learned about Saint Joseph that you would like to share? If you liked the video, please share it with your friends and family. It's a great way to help our community grow. Thank you again for your support, and may God bless you and protect you always.